Good morning. I am Brian Downs, as you know. This is a republic, if you can keep it, as we hope. So, President Donald Trump's idiot trade wars. I've discussed this topic on the channel before. I had a video called Trump's Tariffs Will Help No One. I refer you to that if you need background. But President Donald Trump, of course, on Liberation Day, issued an executive order claiming that he had the power to impose huge tariffs, 10% minimum, 20%, 30%, 50%, who knows, on every country in the world. This, of course, as had been predicted by everyone who's ever studied business, triggered reciprocal tariffs from many of those countries, making it not only impossible for them to sell to us, but for Americans to sell to them. So if you happen to be an American farmer who sold a lot of your crop overseas to places like China, well, you can pound sand. This has created disaster, catastrophe, uncertainty. Since Liberation Day, Donald Trump, the fool, the criminal, the felon who's descending into dementia. Go ahead and Google Donald Trump dementia if this particular video you're watching now doesn't disturb you enough. Since Liberation Day, Donald Trump has raised tariffs, lowered tariffs, raised some tariffs, lowered other tariffs, paused some tariffs, creating nothing but uncertainty. There's nothing the business world hates more than uncertainty. American businesses suffering, American businesses going under, unemployment rising, while inflation rises because when a toaster oven manufactured in China used to cost $100, but now you've inflicted a, let's optimistically say 50% tariff on it, depending on the day of the week and Donald Trump's whim, it now costs $150 because the importer had to pay a $50 tariff to get it into the country. Do you think the importer doesn't pass that on to the consumer? If you think that the answer to that question is no, I invite you to walk into your nearest Walmart and look around. So, Donald Trump issued these tariffs. Terror, catastrophe, rising unemployment, rising inflation. He's kicking. Donald Trump's primary skill in his second administration is kicking the American economy in the head and the ass simultaneously. Oh, by the way, side note, his stupid approach to illegal immigration is another catastrophe that is cutting the bottom out of the tourism market, a $1 trillion plus industry in the United States. I mean, I've heard, that's what I'm told. I only live in Florida, what do I know? $1 trillion plus industry, except people around the world say, number one, I don't like the Americans anymore. I don't want to go there. Number two, I don't want to be deported to a gulag in El Salvador because there's a smudge on my passport. So, Donald Trump's primary skill is kicking the American economy in the head and the ass simultaneously. Donald Trump, the toddler, who only wants to stuff his own mouth while having his ass kissed. But, plot twist. 2 months after Liberation Day, an American court, the Court of International Trade, I believe, has a 3-judge panel issue a unanimous ruling saying that Donald Trump does not have the power to impose tariffs like these. This is outside the power of the presidency. The tariffs are illegal and unconstitutional. Of course, the administration is appealing. I don't know what they think they're going to appeal when a 3-judge panel smacks you in the mouth and says no. Absolutely not. This is not a matter for head scratching. This is not a matter for elderly intellectuals to stroke their beards over. It's just illegal. So, perhaps there is some hope for America's future. I have a couple of things to say. Number one, it alarms me very much that tariffs were collected, that people ran to enforce these rules and to obey them, because they are illegal. I think we should have a system wherein, if the President of the United States issues an executive order, it should be checked for legality before anyone enforces it or obeys it. Because otherwise you just wind up with the absolute chaos that we have suffered through recently. No, we should not trust that the President of the United States is doing the right thing or the legal thing. We should verify, regardless of who the president might be. Another point, Camp Run Amok, the second Trump administration, did one of two things. Either they did not know that these executive orders were illegal and unconstitutional, in which case they are failures and incompetence. The President of the United States has access to a huge amount of resources, any number of experts, lawyers, constitutional scholars who can, fill them in on these matters, and they ought to consult these people before, they put the grenade in their mouth. Well, our mouths, really. Point number two, either Camp Run Amok is totally incompetent, which certainly there's a lot of incompetence involved, or point number two, they knew that the president did not have the legal power to do this, and they went ahead anyway. This, of course, is Donald Trump's routine strategy. Just do the thing and then insist that it's perfectly okay that you did the thing, even when the thing is glowing with illegality, regardless of how many lives it devastates. So the options are, they're a gang of idiots, or they're a gang of authoritarian bastards who believe that the president ought to be able to do whatever the president chooses to do this morning. This, of course, is the precise opposite of the form of government that was designed by Jefferson, Adams, Franklin, Washington, and the whole gang. This is the opposite of the apex of political thinking and of our species' history. This is, at best, gangsterism. This is an impeachable offense. Another in a long list of impeachable offenses. Let us remove Donald Trump from the Oval Office. Let us restore our future. Let us put someone in that chair who's seen a copy of the Constitution,